today. However, when you look down at start list, you will notice some big names further down through the race field. Enric Avancini, the man who took the win in the Marathon Championships, is in here. We've got Finney Kirsten in here. We've got Koretsky in the mix as well. Can't ignore the fact that Sam Gaze is down, sitting 20th on the grid. And that is the defending champion, the 2022 champion. 20th on the grid because he's not raced. Now, big names that are at the back of the race field. We're due to see Matthew van der Poel take the race start. Now, as we came into the studio, there's been no official communication whether he's going to take to the start line or not. Rumours were circulating that he may not take to the start line. We have to see. And just looking at the commentary box, cannot see him at the back of this race field. And it means Peter Sagan will be the last man on that race field. The riders are lined up ready. They will be set off on the green light at the top. Let's see who's going to go out on the course. We don't know how many laps these riders will do yet. We will find out, and Sagan is in there. If Van der Poel was on the line, you would know about it. The cameras would have been on him already, so not taking to the start line. But the riders who are now ready to see who will take away that iconic rainbow jersey. So off we go. This start is going to be absolutely critical. This is the biggest field of riders I think I've seen in a XCC anywhere. The short track explosive start is Keith Schwarzbauer coming out from Germany right up near the front. Sagan already making places around the outside of the turn. Now this course is a much shorter course. Effectively, it is a series of right-hand turns. It is a clockwise course overall, but we've got all the usual twists and turns as you would expect. And as you can see, as I come around the turn, using the full width of the track. But at the moment, that is going to be Schwarzbauer who's leading out, and already you can see these riders really pushing up from lower down in the race field. They all want to be right at the front. If you're at the back, you are going to be stuck in traffic, and that is what is faced by riders like Tom Pickup, the Olympic mountain bike champion, the man who's come across to contest the mountain bike. And it's the Olympics. It's the reason that Sagan is racing. He wants to race in those Paris Olympics on the mountain bike, having finished his road career. Now the congestion here is going to mean that riders are not able to take that optimum line through here. They're going to have to work out where they're going to go. There is one really fast line. If you go offline, it's just tricky. You can just see coming into that tight corner. Two riders coming in. One dive bombing up the inside and goes wide. Really tight on there. But we are seeing, and now that changes. We see the Latvian come up to the front. Martin Blooms takes the race lead, already coming up in to the front, just watching these riders come around the top of the hill and start to snake the way around and down this descent. And then they're going to take the tight right-hand turn to come through to complete the first of their laps. And this is where we get a real good indication. Look how long that line is. It's absolutely crazy. If you're at the back of that, you've got so much work to do to get up to the front. Blooms leads them through a 1:50. It's going to be fast and furious. It's going to be a lot of laps as they make their way around here. So at the moment, Blooms, Avancini, Gaze, Schwarzbauer, Andreessen, Zanotti, followed by Hatley, Wawaker, Dubauer, Brandl. They're the top 10. However, it's changing once again. And Avancini just coming up on the side there. Definitely a rider who could well and truly make his mark here. Now, you took the win in the mountain bike marathon, which is the longest XC distance. This is the shortest one at the championship. It's the only thing in mountain bike that is shorter is the Eliminator, the World Eliminator Series taking place, and the next round actually coming up on Sunday. That's a super short format. This is longer, but it's still the shortest here. It would be something if he could take the longest and the shortest at this sort of championships here. Just getting pushed back a little bit here as Sam Gaze comes up. Sam Gaze has been looking very, very strong in practice. And he's moved up from 20th place into position number 1. Just taking a little bit of a look down through this field. Just seeing if any of the other big favourites have managed to move too close to the front, trying to get that gap back down again. Andre Sinker dropping from the front row down into 18th place. It looks like Holmgren in 20th position at the moment. Cameron Orr from the home nation from Great Britain in 21st. Daniel Brado dropping off that front row grid, going back to 22. And it's going to be an 11-lap race. I suspect when they come through, it's going to be 9 laps to go when they hit the line this time. So 9 laps to go as they hit the line this time. Gaze goes through, takes a look across. He's going to be working out. He knows it's going to be about 20 minutes, but the ascent on this lap is going to be very telling indeed on the riders as they come round. And the approximate height gain on this is about 40 meters per lap on this circuit. It was originally 43, but changes to the course have altered that. As you see, Dubois making a move. Schwarz-Bauer up on the side here. They all want to be in the front as they come in. This wide climbing section is your opportunity to overtake. The moment that we go down in towards the twist and turns in towards the berms, then it's going to string out here. You can see a big push on the side by Alan Hatley from South Africa in gold and green, just trying to make a move up on the riders right on our left. Big wide line there. Savassini just gets pushed offline a little bit here. Just trying to take a little look back, try and see where some of those big names are now as they come around. It's looking very interesting indeed out there as they try and make their way back down in the best position. Sink just dropping down off that front row start. So great drone shot up from the top, that berm. You can just see a slightly darker line above that bright white line. That's where they are going round, actually running around. The sun is starting to break up. It was breaking up in the early race, continued to deteriorate slightly. And the wind still blowing. It's dropped a little bit. The flag's on site, just easing off a little. And it does mean that these riders are not going to get as much assistance down this straight. The speed these riders are going, it's going to be easier to sit in the draft, hide behind the other riders on those long straights and fast descents where they can. It takes a lot more power to move up down the outside to push on to try and make position. You've then got to slot in with the group. So as they come through this time around, at the end of lap number 3, Sam Gates, Victor Koretsky up there, Lucas Schwarz-Bauer in 3rd place, Simon Andresen in 4th. They are the riders still holding those top 5. Litcher right in the mix as well. Thomas Litcher, another rider who we know can be right up there, a bronze medalist last time round. Onto the climb they come. So as we look across at the riders, you can just see that little bit of us easing off there, just starting to come together. And the riders on the front want to be really conscious that they're going as fast as they can. Pidcock just up on the right-hand side, so he's making his way up towards the front of the race. He's in 18th place as they cross the line last time, just ahead of Christopher Blevins. Blevins, of course, a winner in the very first short track World Championships back in 2021. So he's a man who knows how to win, but I think maybe not on that same form. But Pidcock definitely in the ascendancy, and a rider who's very good at overtaking. If you watched him in cyclocross, if you watched him on the road, if you've watched him in a mountain bike race, you'll know he has the skills to pay the bills, and definitely a rider who can make places where others seem to struggle just to hold on to their own. So here we go. Sam Gates just dropping down, takes a look across. He's wanting to know who's around him, holding the race on the front. Gates really strong. He's a rider that we know can put the power down. He is very, very often seen on the front. And now you can see the gaps are starting to open at this consistent pace. It's constantly going up. We see a little dip. We see a little bit of a rise. We see that coming together as you go on the hill. As the speed is scrubbed off the riders on the front. The riders at the back coming into the back of the group as they come in and through. So as they came through the line, Gage, Schwarz-Bauer, Andreasen, Koretsky, Leska coming through. They're your top 5. Next, Hatley and Albin behind. Pidcock currently 9th position from the home nation. A big threat, and I think he's one of the reasons why they're trying to keep the pace high, to keep him off the back. Really interesting that we've lost Dubois from the mix up at the front here. And he's riding in 3rd place in the series. You would expect him to be a little bit closer to the front at the moment, but as they came through last time, Victor Koretsky looking very, very strong on the left for France there. So here you go, now the gaps start to open. Now it looks like that's Cameron Orr of Great Britain just trying to close the gap back down to those riders just in front. Just trying to pull on to the back of the leading group here as they go up on top of the hill. Dubois, I think, at the back, near the back of that group. Cameron Orr just chasing hard to get back in. And he's leading the chase behind. Anton Cooper is in the mix in that same group as they came in through the line. Peter Sagan for the Sagan fans out there. Last time he came through the line, 44th position is where he's showing it on our screen. So Nod's made his way right to the front. But remember, he did start in 57th place, so he's got a bit of work to do to make that up. But great to see him out on the bike and enjoying himself. The former junior mountain bike world champion back in 2008. He's definitely a rider who has the ability and the skills. He's certainly got the power. And I think he's, if we can get back enjoying his riding, spent too much time on the road. I can't believe we just said that. Too much time on the road, definitely. I guess it was worth it for all those wins and taking all those green jerseys. A record on the road, but great to see him back on the mountain bike once again. I know a lot of people tuning in to see just how he does. We've got people watching all around the world. If you are just joining us, where have you been? We are 10 minutes in nearly to the men's elite XCC. We have 6 laps to go on the board at the moment. That will go down to 5 laps to go as they come in through. So they're on lap 6 of 11. The race leaders have been pretty much there from the word go, with Schwarzbauer, who led off so strongly at the front. And this is really the attrition, trying to break the riders behind, trying to just keep that pace high around this circuit. And the gaps really have started to open behind. Look at the dot-to-dot behind. That's not one continuous line. You need to get your felt pen out and join those up. And they're not going to get back together very easily. Peacock making a move now. On the right-hand side, goes around the side of there. Now went diving into that corner, looking to make a move around. I think that's Licha, just inside of the top 5 there. So they drop down. Schwarzbauer leading, Gaze in 2. Behind, still a line. That leading group continues to stretch this out. Here they come in around the crowds here. So Koretsky in 3, Peacock up to 4 in 5th place. Immediately behind him, you can see Licha, the man he just overtook. Peacock having the composure, takes hands off the bars. He's definitely a threat here on what is a very punchy, fast course. His background in mountain biking, cyclocross and in road going to suit him. Very, very explosive rider. And with no Matthew van der Poel, now maybe the strongest, punchiest rider on the circuit, the man who's coming in as one of the bigger threats. Not able to take to the start. He was down on the start list, which means that there has to be a medical exemption, I think, to take it out, if I've read the rules correctly. And that means that maybe the crash that he had in the road race on his way to race victory was enough to take him out. Now big move on the right-hand side here, big push. And you can just see it's about getting position here. Taking that inside line, taking the shortest line, get the smoothest line as well, so you're not having to expend excessive watts. You're not having to push through that. We've all ridden on fire. You know what it's like. You get a smooth section, and regular riders will do that. Going out onto the grass, that takes even more energy. And look at this. This is bad news, because we are seeing out of the race Avancini. Well, he was one of the outside bets for a top placing here. We know he's got the ability to do it. He's got the power, but it's not to be today. So I haven't seen him down in the pits. That is a loss. But he has won a gold medal already from these championships. We'll see if he can come back from that now. Just tucking on to the back of the group. Not like Anton Cooper, just at the back of that pack, just coming down into these twists, into these turns. He's currently lining 90th place. Well, that's 90th as he came across the line last time round. I'm just going to double check that on our screen. So just flicking backwards and forwards. Just going to make sure, yep, 19th as he came through last time. But 9 seconds down on the race leaders, which is not a huge amount as they come round. Lap times still hovering around that 1:50, 1:55 markers. So not slowing down particularly at the moment. It's only 1 or 2 seconds slower. So 4 laps to go as the riders come in through the line. Koretsky leads them through from Gates, from Leitcher, from Schwartzbauer and Blooms. Then it's going to be Hathley, Sink, Pidcock, along with Vinnie Carson, De Fremont, Albin, Blevins and Schurmans. But you can see the gap start to open up behind Cooper at the pretty much near the back of that pack. But the riders are coming through very quickly, but you've got to be up in this front group, and Pidcock just dropping back there. He's in good company with Karsten, but of course looking to do something here in the mountain bike. Didn't ride the road race and chose to focus on the mountain bike. He's actually been on that mountain bike World Cup scene going over, and a rider who actually loves mountain biking. Once had the chance to ask him what bike, if he had one bike, if you have to choose any one bike out of the entire set of bikes he's got the access to on the teams, and you have one bike for the rest of the time, that was the only thing he could ride, what would it be? And it was a downhill mountain bike. That's what he said. A man who's more than capable of doing the big gap jumps and the road jumps down at Bike Park Wales. Gives you a good indication he's more than at home on the mountain bike as well. Now Cooper just looking hovering, they're just moving up through the group. They're still looking good now. As we start to run out of time, we start to run out of laps. We're at 14.5 minutes. We're on 4 laps to go on the board. It'll be 3 when they come through next time. Right, it's got to be working out where they're going to make their move. Where are you going to go for this? And where are you going to put the pressure on? And you can just see diving off the front there. That was a really interesting manoeuvre, just not wanting to be at the front, taking the pace. That was literally just deliberately coming off. Doesn't want to be making the pace down this long straight. He's going to let Schwartzbauer, Gaze and Koretsky be the first 3, but he's dropped back into 4th position. And look at the difference. So your riders on the front looking around, the riders just behind, making sure that they get right on to the wheels. A quick look across at the big screen there. You can see the composure of Sam Gates, who's just looking, just as he comes underneath the gantry. You can take a look to your left and look up at the big screen directly over the top of our podium stage here. And he was looking to see what damage had been done. How big is that group? No need to look over your shoulder. No need to look across the short, tight corners. And easier just to watch it on the big screen here in the venue at Glentress. The crowd's really cheering them on. They're packed on the banking down on this start finishing straight and all the way up this climb. Schwartzbauer sat down, Gaze out of the saddle. Big push from Hadley on the side. They're just trying to move himself back up in that position. It's a constant churn in this group as they come round. I wouldn't want to put my money on any of these riders at the moment. This is the first substantial gap. Just pushing on in to the gap. Went Ulan Batos Galinski of Brazil. He's the rider who's chasing at the moment. And he's got to make that gap back. Can't afford to let that leading group get any further ahead. So looks like David List just dropping towards the back of that group from during that leading pack as they come down. Still a big group of riders. And that is not what these riders want to see. They've been going flat out now for 16.5 minutes. So it's a bit like playing poker out there. They are all holding their cards pretty close to their chest. Nobody has gone for a full-on attack. And they are waiting and waiting and waiting. They're just relying on the high speed on those twists and turns. They go into the top first. It's just natural that the riders at the front get to ride their own pace. Everybody has to go into the single track, has to string out behind. They don't get the choice on when the break. It's going wide as they come into this climb with 2 laps to go. This is coming towards its culmination. Who's going to go hard? Who's going to go early? Is anybody going to risk putting the move in now? It's just winding the pace up, getting faster and faster. So these riders coming through, they spent a little bit of time looking at each other that last lap through, because they were hovering round about just under the 2-minute mark of 1:58, 1:59. I think it's going to be. Going to double check those as they come through. 1:52, 1:59. The last lap 1:52 again. So just back down to that faster time. We expect here in the commentary box for this to come right down on that last lap. But this is the group. And now we're waiting to see who is going to be looking to get into position, who is going to try and get up there. So hard to get away on this very long, dead straight start, finish straight. Pidcock just moves up on the side, that goes around the corner of Koretsky, just taking a little bit of a look back. Cooper still looking ominous, a little bit further behind him. You can see that we have also got Christopher Blevins in here. Good to see Blevins looking so good. Back in with this group. Maybe not on the form that we were expecting. Not a rider who has been able to have the season he wanted so far. But looking like the very first of our champions, right up and in the mix. Along with Sam Gaze, the defending champion, up on the front of the group. Another look behind him. He's wondering, is somebody going to put in a take? Somebody going to try and go down the other side of this long straight? All the riders have to have their necks on a swivel here. They've got to take a look behind, see what they can do, see if there's a chance that somebody's going to try and jump them. And again, Gaze looks at that screen. So 10 riders now ready in a contest as they come onto the hill. That's Blevins and Cooper left it too late. Now big move coming there, winding up. Gaze is trying to hold them off on the way up here. He doesn't want to get this and get overtaken. He'll want to lead them into that single track, so he's got the spot. He can race from the front. Now he puts another rep in out of the sun. You can see kicking, throwing that bike across. He's got a couple of bike legs here. He's opened the gap on Schwarzbauer, and Schwarzbauer can't respond here. He can't get back to him at the moment, and Gaze is starting to ride away from them on this climb. Gaze at the moment is looking to do the double. He's looking to take this away. Can he defend this all the way to the line? He's got the gap, and it's Koretsky, the man who's nearest. He's the man most likely to challenge, but now queued up behind. Can they pull him back? Just watching Martin Blues just drop down here just back. Gaze goes wide around there to keep it tight in that left hand. You see the amount of speed the riders have to scrub off to go around that tight left, dropping down onto the slightly older section of Burrs, but Gaze it is who has the lead. He's going to give it absolutely everything. He's starting to empty that tank. When you come out of the turns, he takes a look behind, sees how much room he's got. Surely Sam Gaze is going to do the double here. Koretsky's going to try and charge on him. Pidcock's doing a move on the inside there is Schwarzbauer, and down goes Schwarzbauer. Schwarzbauer's gone and hit the floor. It's going to be the run for the line. It's going to be about the push. It's going to be Sam Gaze. He gets in the sprint from Koretsky. Victor Koretsky has not got that back. It's going to a photo finish. While the commissaire is going to be looking at that as well. There was a very tight corner coming around into the finish there. But that was an absolutely masterclass in how to use your power from Sam Gaze. He just went on the front. He owned the throttles. Nobody else was in the same league as him. I think he had 2 more cylinders than anybody else in there going up that climb. And then he kept command of the race. The rest of these riders come streaming back in. But what a race. Now, unofficially, it is Gaze, Koretsky, Pidcock, Hatherley, Finney, Carsten, Blums in that order in the top 6. Then it is Kuhl, Licher, Schwarzbauer, Cooper going through in the top 10. But this is unofficial at the moment. Gaze thinks he's got it. I think he's got it. I'm sure most of the crowd here think he's got it. The applause rings out as these riders continue in through over the line. Just seen come in through there, Riki Katabayashi come through from Japan. But look at the state of the riders. Just imagine going out and sprinting non-stop around every corner of your favourite mountain bike track, time and time again, for 20 minutes, absolutely flat out. 20 minutes, 27 seconds, the winning time in Gaze. Rightfully delighted. So, fantastic ride from Sam Gaze. So here's the run down into the finish. Sam Gaze, and this is the corner. This is where they're going to look closely. That Pidcock runs wide, and there's nowhere for Schwartzbauer to go. He's right off in the grass, in the debris, in the traces of the side, and you could just see he went down the man, leading the overall series, or went down, hit the floor. It left the race clear. Gaze had got enough. Koreski not quite able to make it, and absolutely frustrated with himself that he maybe hadn't gone just slightly earlier. If that line had been another few meters, Gaze may well have been caught out there, but definitely not the case. As they came through in their reactions, say it all. So we are going to see Sam Gaze on the podium, up on the top step. Your race winner, your champion in the mountain bike cross-country short track. What a ride by Gaze. I don't think it was very often he was outside the top 5 or 10 on the way around there, and putting in an absolutely blistering run to the line.